Recently we listed 7 things that are guaranteed to happen every time you start an RPG. But 7 was far too low a number for that list, because the comments section of the aforementioned video was so full to bursting, it would put a bursting rot fiend to shame. Bursting, that is, with suggestions for even more things that will definitely always occur when you start a role-playing game. Here are your picks of things bound to happen when you start an RPG. Now let's quickly cut to the list of the games you got to beware spoilers for, because that rot fiend business is gonna make me hell. Sorry.
Jackdaws caw, goldfinches warble, and cranes whoop, whereas peacocks screech. Hawks scream, larks trill, and doves, they coo.
Perhaps the best thing about role-playing games is their high replayability, which is an industry term for when you can't be asked spending 50 quid on a new game, so yeah, Skyrim again? Skyrim again. Trouble is, while many RPGs offer different playstyles or storylines depending on your preference, the one thing that probably hasn't changed since last time you played is, well, you. George Sears knows this pain all too well. What about swearing on your mother's life that this time you'll play someone totally different than last game, only to find yourself 5 hours later taking all the same skills and choosing all the same quest lines as before because, damn it, you just really hate that one faction, you suck at using throwing weapons, and you can't force yourself to be rude to the fictional kind old lady. It's a problem that'll be familiar to anyone starting an RPG that they've played before, but one that shouldn't be that surprising. I mean, if choosing a character class that lets you pulverize your enemies with an axe was your preference last time, why should you be desperate to play a stealthy magician this time round? Especially when you already know exactly which skills to get to make your hero's journey that bit easier. Out of the way, soldiers trying to do their job, a hero is coming through. Ah, the hero's life. This issue won't just plague your character class and combat preferences, but story beats too. If previously you thought Geralt should end up with Yennefer rather than Triss, you might be tempted to think you could see a different side to the game this time round by choosing a different path. Forgetting, of course, that the choices you made the first time weren't arbitrary, but based on strongly held convictions. And quite a lot of fan fiction, if I'm honest.
You'd think designing your dream face would be easy. Mads Mikkelsen's cheekbones, Keanu Reeves' hair, Mads Mikkelsen's eyes, Keanu Reeves' beard, Keanu Reeves'
Andy, focus up, please.
Sorry, yes, what was I talking about? Keanu Reeves. But as anyone who's spent any time playing role-playing games will know, being allowed to tinker with your own visage is a recipe for lost hours and frustration. Just ask commenter Jess May Wynn, who writes, bound to happen every time I play an RPG. 1. Spend 3 hours in Character Creator. 2. See character in neutral lighting from all angles. 3. Realize I've created Frankenstein's monster. 4. Sulkily return to Character Creator. Indeed, when a game gives you ultimate control over things like eyebrow depth and chin height, it feels like a wasted opportunity not to tweak every slider you see. Uh-oh, we've been staring at the screen so long we've forgotten how noses are supposed to look. Uh-oh, now it's been so long that noses as a very concept seem alien and bizarre. Everyone's just got a flesh snorkel poking out of their face and we're supposed to pretend that's fine? But all of this faffing around in character creators would be worth it, except that, as Jess Maywin points out, odds are, once you see your hero in action, you'll realise you got something terribly wrong and feel compelled to start over.
Cybernetics?
Or finessing your character's appearance for ages, only for the game to make them look like a year-old joint of beef that got sucked into a lawnmower. Or indeed, spend ages in the character creator, only to realise the game is in first person.
Ah, there you are, wondering what's going on, eh?
Is there a worse way to waste your time at the start of an RPG? Who knows? Oh no, now I'm thinking about noses again.
So, hotshot, you finally finished creating your character, eh? Think you're ready to go out and explore a rich, immersive world? Well, not yet, you're not. Because there's one step you doubtless forgot when you fired up that RPG for the first time. Luckily, here's commenter Kyle White to remind you when they suggest customizing your character, then totally blanking when you get asked to input name. Fry's brain thinking of an epic name for my badass hero. Kyle is bang on, because all too often a game won't let you play until you've not only modelled your character, but named them as well. This is especially true in MMORPGs, and especially difficult too, because not only must you come up with a name for your character, it has to be one that none of the other tens of thousands of people playing on your realm is using already. In other words, Aragorn is probably taken. Try Merry or Pippin though, they're usually the last to go. If you're content for everyone you meet in your travels to know you as SkullSniper_XX1999, then this is less of a problem. But if you're taking the RPG seriously, expect to spend hours bouncing from lists of obscure mythical figures on Wikipedia back to the game to check what's not taken yet. Oh, screw this! I'll just make up something that sounds vaguely fantasy, like Mithrandel or something. Fine, Pippin it is.
Three qualities define a true RPG hero: courage, the strength to accept the help of some friends, and an unquestioning willingness to kill 1, maybe 200 rats. Because perhaps one of the oldest cliches in RPG history is a mission right out of the gate where you brutally slay a bunch of rodents.
Why Moradin's hammer?
This most time-honoured of quests didn't escape the notice of commenter Kaiser Yuki, who said, "Adventurer exists. Rats. Allow us to introduce ourselves." The classic rat slaughterfest likely has its roots as a straightforward way to ease the player into the basics of combat, letting you experiment with squishing foes at no great risk, unless you count the psychological toll of slaughtering a dozen mostly harmless mammals in rapid succession.
It will be done.
At this point though, the fabled rat splat is such a well-known way to kick off an RPG, it's usually deployed with a knowing wink, as is the case in Dragon Age Origins.
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell.
Did your grandfather also keep in the bit where the hero spends 2 hours looking at skill trees? Come on, Grandad, this is basic storytelling.
Well now, a pretty little wood elf. You're a little far from the forest, huh? Looks like your days of woodland frolicking have come to a tragic end.
Some things are comfortingly familiar, like an old family recipe or a favourite jumper, or spilling an old family recipe over a favourite jumper. Or, for instance, the very beginning of an RPG, which invariably will feature one of several familiar scenarios, as commenter Pixie Star knows all too well. You guys forgot the part where you always start an RPG either A. locked up somewhere and need to escape, B. falsely accused of a crime you did not commit, C. at the start of a quest which serves as your tutorial, D. a variation of A, B or C depending on genre, characters and amount of on-screen text. It's true that however an RPG begins, odds are you've seen something like it before, such as coming to in a prison cell with no idea how you got there, only knowing for sure that something is about to happen that means you're going to get free. Such as Oblivion's Emperor Uriel Septim bursting into your cell with a classic chat-up line.
Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams.
Heard 'em all before, Emperor. Or if that seems a bit too sedate, how about opening right in the middle of an exciting quest with a full party of fellow adventurers in a daring escapade that certainly looks extremely dramatic, but that we all know is secretly just to show you which button is which. Yep, stabby stabby, don't worry game, we'll definitely remember everything about issuing party commands and status effects, don't you even worry about it. And seeing as this game didn't start with us in prison or falsely accused of a crime, we're going to go ahead and assume there's no need to remember the names of any of these people because every RPG player knows the game hasn't properly started until you see a peaceful village. Called it. Come on, Dragon's Dogma, what's next? My best friend's gone missing in a nearby forest. Dragon ate my heart. To be fair, I did not see that coming.
And so here is the mighty Grey Warden at long last. The crows send their greetings once again.
So they sent you, Taliesin? Or did you volunteer for the job?
I volunteered, of course. When I heard that the great Severin had gone rogue, I simply had to see it for myself.
Is that so?
Spending a lot of time in a video game can make it hard to trust your friends. Just ask Miranda.
Friendly fire!
I just wanted to see what happened. It's all fine. Sorry. It's not surprising that we're incapable of trust when so many games feature staggering, breathtaking betrayals, as commenter Anthony Cowell recalls. Whenever there is an RPG with parties of NPCs I can have tag along, I always immediately try and figure out which of my trusted companions is gonna betray me. Perhaps there's something about the nature of an RPG, in which you will likely end up spending dozens of hours in the company of your fellow computer-controlled adventurers, that makes getting stabbed in the back so much more painful.
I hereby pledge my oath of loyalty to you until such a time as you choose to release me from it.
And what's the obvious solution? To watch your friends like a hawk, that's what.
You can return with me, Severin. I know why you did this, and I don't blame you. It's not too late. Come back and we'll make up a story.
That way, when the inevitable knife in the spine does come, at least you have a better chance of feeling even slightly prepared. Damn it, Severin! I thought we were buds, man! How could you?
I am no fool, old friend. You know me too well. I'm glad it was you who came, Taliesin. This makes things easier. As for you, Grey Warden, let us see if this second time is the charm, huh?
More enemies ahead!
Just goes to show, can't trust anybody.
Hey Ellen, I went to the vending machine, got you a Pepsi.
Oh yeah, you'd like that. Yeah, drink up the Pepsi. You bloody love that, wouldn't you? Wasn't it arsenic? Sit you down on the ground, wouldn't it?
Not many people know this, but it's actually illegal to program an NPC to walk at the same speed as a player character. As such, for fear of being thrown in prison, game developers insist on NPCs moving at a pace that could best be described as glacial and worst be described as glacial. Oh my god, buddy, while we're young.
And you'll not find a better cobbler than Tala anywhere in the north.
And where do you find more slow-moving NPCs than at the start of an RPG, as commenter Callum Dixon recalls. Having to follow characters who walk at about half the default walk speed and won't shut up as they give you a tour, or wait 5 minutes while they just walk to a marker on the map you sprinted to in 10 seconds. Indeed, if they're not giving you a tour of your own village at the start of an RPG, you can usually find your key NPCs making their leisurely way through a story-heavy set piece. Expect to spend your time with these sluggish NPCs furiously tapping your foot at the next waypoint, or breaking immersion entirely by sprinting and hopping around them in circles, in a bid to dissipate the nervous energy you've built up being angry at their movement speed.
That was close.
This usually means you miss a lot of important story and go into the game knowing very little about the NPC you're mad at. All we know of this Ralof is that he's escaped Imperial custody and is fleeing a dragon attack, but yet can't bring himself to move at more than a light jog, apparently. Is this perhaps a contributing factor to how you got caught in the first place, Ralof?
Let's see where this goes.
Thanks for the drink, Luke.
You're welcome.
I'm really sorry that I burst out
Yeah,
at you
I should
early.
say. Yikes.
Can you forgive me?
Yes, in time.
Okay, good. Still watching you though. Other things you can watch as well. Shut up. Is other videos from us. There's here furious berserk modes like the mode that I was in earlier, and then also some games that tried to kill you immediately. What the hell, games? And if you really enjoyed, why don't you subscribe and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, I get it.